G'day, Damon here for Automotive Superstore, and today we're checking out Cerwin-Vega's range of subwoofers. Now, Cerwin-Vega offers a diverse range of subwoofers covering every popular size and fitment requirement. Basehead's on a super tight requirement, XED series. They're available in either a 10-inch, which is this one here, or a 12-inch. They're a single 4-ohm voice coil. The 10's rated for 125 watts RMS of power, the 12, 150. What I like about these is, even though they're super affordable, it's got some nice build attributes. So rubber surround, they've glued and stitched it to the parabolic cone. The nice thing about the parabolic cone, it's super stiff. And if you haven't used a grill, and we've got those available on the site, if this is in your car and something bumps into it, it's unlikely to get damaged, which is really nice. So we've got a bumped frame here. You can't see it, but around the back of the cone, there are small holes. And combined with this here, that gives cooling for the voice coil as the driver is moving forward and backwards. And that's a really nice touch as well. So it can't mechanically bottom out either because of the style of the basket, which is nice. The 10-inch will suit a 25-litre sealed box. The 12-inch will need slightly larger, about 28 litres. However, I would probably go maybe 20% over that. If you've got the space for that, they'll sound a bit nicer. You can also get them in a preloaded box on our site, and that'll make life a lot easier for you. That's available in singles or in duals. So, as an amplifier, something like Cerwin-Vega's own entry-level CVP 1601D is ideal for either of these. Okay, so the next step up from that is the HED series, which are a great investment if you can afford it. They handle more power and have more excursion, so more bass, and for a slight increase in price. Like the Prize series, these are available in either a 10 or a 12. The voice coil configurations are a little bit different, however. So in the 10, it's only a dual 4-ohm voice coil. In the 12, you can get it in a single or dual 4-ohm voice coil. Power handling's 200 watts RMS for the single and 250 watts RMS for the dual. Like the Prize series, it has the parabolic cone that's good to protect against damage. However, you can option to buy the separate grill cover for any of these two drivers. This uses a pressed steel frame to keep the cost down. Because it handles more power, these have the radial vents around the frame here that keep the voice coil cool. And combined with a little vent at the back here, it's also got the bump plate for high excursion, and this one has a flat spider, again, for higher excursion capabilities. I also like that it's got the press terminals on this one to make connection nice and easy. For enclosures, the 10-inch will suit a 21-litre sealed box, or you can do a 35-litre ported box alternatively. The 12, you can do a 35-litre sealed box or a 42-litre ported box. If you want to make your life really easy, of course, we sell those as single or dual 10 or 12s in the pre-made box. It's really nice. Comes with a grill, it's vented for more output, and has the nice Cerwin-Vega embroidery on the top. For an amplifier, again, the CVP series is ideal. This is the slightly more powerful 2000. It's pretty much the ideal power for either of these drivers. And if you're going to use two 12s, use the single 4-ohm because this is ideal at a 2-ohm load. The other thing is, this series is available in the shallow version, and we're going to check that one out next. And so this is it, the shallow HED series. You can see that the overall mounting depth for this model is much shallower than a traditional subwoofer. They're available in a 10 and a 12. They're a dual 4-ohm voice coil. The 10's about 200 watts RMS power handling, the 12 is 250. The application for these is to go into a very shallow enclosure behind the seat of a dual cab ute or a single cab ute, under the floor of a hatchback or a wagon, something like that, a spare wheel well enclosure that you might custom make. The other nice things about this, it's got the rubber edge surround, it's got the gasket included in it, it's got the push terminals to make connections nice and easy. For enclosures, 18 litres sealed for these, which is a really small box because that's what you need it to be for those types of situations. For the 12-inch, it's about 24 litres. Alternatively, we do sell these as singles in a 10 and 12. The dimensions are available on our website for you to check to see if they fit your application. For an amplifier, something like Cerwin-Vega's B51 is pretty ideal. This makes 500 watts RMS and would be perfect to run two of these from. Next up, Vega series. So in the Vega series, there's just the one driver. It's this one, a dual 4-ohm 12-inch. Rated power for this is 450 watts RMS, and that means it's pretty ideally suited to either something like the CVP 2000 series here, if you're on a budget. If you want something that's compact, a Class D amplifier like the XED 6001 is ideal as well. They make the same kind of power required to make this thing really sing. This is your classic Cerwin Vega from back in the day, right? So red surround for all those guys from the old school days, this is the one. It's a rubber surround, double stitched to a carbon fiber style parabolic cone. To keep the price in check, they're still using a pressed steel basket. It does look cast, but it's pressed steel. It has the radial vents and the vent in the back to keep the voice coil nice and cool. It's got a very large flat spider for the higher excursion that these more powerful models are capable of. Of course, pressed steel connections for the press terminals for the connections for speakers. What's also interesting, it's a dual voice coil. It's only got one connection, right? Like, what's with that? This little switch here, it's a plug, and you pull it out and switch it around, and it'll switch between 2 or 8 ohm impedances. So if you're going to run multiple of these, you've got to switch that to suit whatever amplifier you choose. For enclosures, you've got a choice of a 35 litre sealed or a 43 litre ported. The last trick this unit's got is this ring comes out, and that way your mounting screws are hidden. That's pretty cool. On to the next one. All right, we're getting pretty serious now. This is the VMAX series, of which there are 4 sizes. So there's a 12, the 10, the 8-inch, and this little guy here, a 6.5. How cool is that? It looks like someone got a big subwoofer and shrunk it down in the oven. But this one's unique because it's got these fly leads. They're an 8 gauge to connect directly to your amplifier, because there's not really enough room to put this in your box and have it had terminal hanging off the side. The other ones use the traditional press style connections that you want to see. You can see on the frame here with these big vents all the way around to keep the voice coils cool, as well as the pole piece on the rear. It's a cast frame on these. It's got the rubber edge ring that gives you that gasket sealing to the box, which is ideal. For power handling, you've got 250 watts for the 6.5-inch, all the way through to about 1,000 watts RMS for the 12. Dual 4 ohm voice coils. So if you wanted to use an amplifier for that, I'd probably recommend something like this one here. This one will do 1,000 watts RMS at 1 ohm, or about 800 at 2 ohms. And that's great if you've just got 1 or 2, because 4 ohm voice coils, while in parallel, will give you a 1 ohm load. For enclosures for these, we don't sell a pre-made box for these, so you'll have to construct one. You've got a few choices, sealed or ported, as small as 11.5 litres for the 6.5 sealed, all the way through to about 50 litres ported for the 12, so anywhere in between. They also have a shallow mount version of this, and that's what we're going to check out next. And so here we are, we've got the shallow version of the VMAX. You can see that's a much shallower driver than the traditional VMAX full fat 10-inch. Shallow drivers like this, again, are ideally suited to applications like a dual cab ute or single cab ute, where you've got a very narrow space for the enclosure, or under the spare wheel well for a hatchback or a sedan. You can make a custom box and slide that into very easily. Like the regular range, it's got the cast frame. These use a neodymium magnet. It's a much more powerful magnet for its size, to fit it deep inside the frame to give you all that compact size. You still get the push terminals, which is nice. You've got the rubber edge ring, that's also nice. These are available in dual 4 ohm 10 and 12 with power handling of around 300 watts RMS for the 10 and 400 watts RMS for the 12. For enclosures, as small as 17 litres in a sealed box for the 10 and about 21 litres for the 12. If you want to go ported, you can. The box grows to about 28 litres for the 10 and about 36 litres for the 12. If you're looking for an amplifier for that, because of the power range, you can choose something more affordable like the good old CVP series Cerwin Vega. They work really well in this application. If you want something smaller and more compact, again, the Class D XED series like this one here, that's a great choice as well. And that just leaves us with the Stroker. And here it is, the Cerwin Vega Stroker, a legendary name in subwoofers. It's been around since the original Stroker back in the early 90s, if I can recall. I was around back then. This is the very latest version. It's one size, it's a 12-inch, 1,000 watts RMS power handling of dual 4 ohm voice coils. And you can see with the frame, the voice coil itself is here, and it can get massive cooling because it's basically open to the air. That voice coil is 3 inches in diameter. It's a 4-layer winding, and it's got an aluminium voice coil former. That's the tube that the windings are made out of, or wrap around, and that's what gives it that thermal power handling of 1,000 watts RMS. One enclosure alone for this, they recommend a 42.5 litre ported box, and if you want an amplifier, Cerwin Vega happens to make a Stroker series that does 1,000 watts RMS, and that's the exact match for this woofer. That's it, the legend. If you want to get serious about Cerwin Vega bass, it's this bad boy, the Stroker 12. So that's the entire range of Cerwin Vega subwoofers. Every one of these subwoofers comes with full Feel Small parameters in the box, as well as enclosure recommendations for sealed and ported if they suit that. So jump onto our website and choose one that suits you. There's certainly going to be one that's going to match what you need. Like and subscribe while you're here as well, and I'll see you on the next one.